Hi, we're Quaint and Curious Volumes. My name is James. It's Friday, November 21st, 2025. And I wanted to come to you with a little book haul. A book haul that may have you questioning my sanity. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you may have heard me say that over the last couple of months I've been making a bit of an effort to improve my Spanish, to improve my ability to read and understand Spanish. Towards that end, I've been looking around for some suggestions. One that came up that was interesting to me and would not have been something that I would suspect is someone suggested, maybe it was in a common thread here or on Reddit, that the sonnets of one Jorge Luis Borges was a good book to get for someone learning to read Spanish. Jorge Luis Borges. Now, I love Borges in translation. I think he's a fascinating writer. I think he's a genius. I found that a bit surprising. I thought Borges was maybe down the road. You know, you don't start someone reading English off with Joyce, right? But it was recommended, and Penguin Classics has a volume of the sonnets, so I ordered it, and it came. And this is that book. Looks like a regular Penguin Classic. Black spine, the regular, well, not the latest version, which has the black and white on the spine. Look, but hold on a second, look at this spine. Notice something? Look at this. Look at this little white seam here. That's not usual. And now that I'm touching this white seam, I'm like, the cover of this does not feel like most Penguin Classics that I have lovingly fondled over the years. This feels suspiciously like that horrible Jan Fosse book from Dalkey Archives with that sort of fuzzy-ish texture. It kind of sticks to you. It's sort of matte. It does feel like that. And I'm looking at the back. You probably won't be able to tell this, but here it says cover art Ben Wiseman. But it's kind of blurry. Kind of like this was printed not in the usual way. And then I flip it open, and I don't know if you can tell, this is very white paper. Very bright white paper. It does, look, it wonderfully. It has the poems, English and Spanish on facing pages. And let's see. While I'm complaining about this, let's read this one. Okay, yeah. Here's a sonnet that Borges wrote to Charles XII, King of Sweden. Viking of the steppes, Charles XII of Sweden, who marched that whole long road of the Great Bear to the south of your divine ancestor Odin. What gave you pleasure were the efforts so great they moved men's memory to epic verse and song, to deadly battles, hard horror of cannon fire, the steel of unyielding sword and bloody glory, the bloody glory. You knew that to prevail or to be conquered were two sides of the same indifferent coin. That to be brave was the only virtue, and one's cold monument will be oblivion. You burn like ice, more desolate than the desert. No one could touch your soul, and now you're gone. Fantastic. It says SKs. That was translated by Stephen Kessler. Good job, Stephen. So Jorge Luis Borges, if you're not familiar, known for being a kind of Baroque writer. He's known for his short stories. And they're very short often, like 5 pages, 10 pages. But they'll just be sort of bizarre and experimental and, mind-bending in some kind of way. Not trippy at all, in like an old school way. He wouldn't have been steampunk, he wouldn't have been dark academic, but those kinds of people, they wish that they had the intellect of a Borges. He's always going to go for the odd word, the foreign word, the strange choice. Maybe not always, but look, that's the kind of writer that this guy is. And as I say, I'm a great admirer. So I haven't read a whole bunch, but this got me, that just feeling this, I did not like it. It feels like some other print-on-demand books that I've owned in the past. And I look at the back, and it says, made in the USA, Columbia, South Carolina, 14 November 2025. This book is like a week old. It was printed the day that I ordered it. Now, the Amazon website, I can't swear to it, but I'm pretty sure it said when I was looking at this brand new book, only 2 copies left, order soon. You know, because there's going to be a big run on it. Well, there will be now since I'm making this video. There's not only 2 copies left, you're going to print one whenever you want. You just printed this thing. So, I was curious, and I didn't like it. I wasn't sure I wanted to keep this. But I also was like, can I get a non-print-on-demand copy of this? This is a Penguin classic. This isn't, you know, this isn't go over his travels that a bunch of, you know, grind set scammers are putting out print-on-demand versions for. So I looked, and there was a used copy in good condition for a decent price. It's like $5 less than I paid for this. This wasn't terribly expensive. And it came. So I ordered another copy. Fortunately, it doesn't have any highlighting or annotations, so that's nice. You know, the spine's a little dinged here, but that happens with these books. And it's, you know, nice and floppy. It's also kind of floppy, but you know, this has like the seam on the cover that they have these days. Where this just is more kind of classic Penguin classic paper quality, nice sort of has a little texture to it. Whereas this it's like, you know, office printer paper. And I just don't know what to make of this, to be honest. So I don't know what the point of this video is. I just wanted to share that I'm losing my effing mind. There's no reason for me to have 2 copies of this book. I can return this print on demand for a full refund if I want to. But in a way, I don't want to. I kind of want to keep it. I don't know. I hate it. I hate feeling it. And look, this is why it has that white seam, because the paper is a heavier stock. But it's the same number of pages, and I guess they have the same, you know, JPEG or whatever that they print the cover of. So it has this extra bit that's not black. So I don't know, but this got me thinking about another thing. My friend Gavin of the great channel Genre Books has an ongoing series of Lost Penguin classics, where he goes through the Penguin catalog, and he pulls out examples of books that were printed in the old format, the sort of cream-colored format with the color tab, that are no longer in the current Penguin line that looks like this. And you know, I guess there's various reasons why they would stop printing them. I guess predominantly not a lot of demand. But maybe this print on demand is not all bad, because if you can just print up a copy of that obscure Tobias Smollett novel, the title of which I've forgotten, that Gavin talked about the other day, I'll put a link to his latest video. Why would it have to go out of print? You can just print one up, and it's not going to be, you know, Joe Schmo grind sets, crummy, cheap print on demand. It'll have the Penguin Classic art, the Penguin Classic annotations, and introductions and good translations, not whatever, public domain translation you can get with an AI generated summary. It's going to be like something quality. So maybe there's good and bad sides to this extremely annoying experience that I've had. There you go. Good copy, bad copy. I don't know. Tell me I'm not going crazy. Thanks for watching. Bye.